What is up, YouTube? We have finally done it after probably like 15 or 20 hours of work, and I'm including like recording and editing all my videos and stuff. But we have finally got this web application up, up and running live. I'm hosting it through Heroku, so you can see this is URL. This is the URL to the actual site. So you guys, I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can go to the site and you can create an account. Basically, once you create an account, you create a password, username, password, and then you can go to topics. And once you're logged in, you can create new topics, and you can add different entries or as many entries as you want to each topic. It also actually works on my phone, which I thought was kind of cool. I looked it up in my phone. The only thing that's like weird on my phone, it has this little like drop down menu in the top right, and that drop down menu doesn't work. So I have to like to sign in, I have to turn my phone sideways, and then I can actually see the user login information. Um, so yeah, that's a little weird. I'm gonna have to try to figure out why that drop down menu doesn't work. But either way, I'm very happy with it. Um, I think it's pretty cool that it actually works. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, once you log in, it'll actually say hello and put your username up here, and then you can go to topics. And then if you have some kind of topic here, you can click on the topic, and then you can see the entries that you've added. You can edit your entries, you can add new entries, um, and you can add new topics. So that is it. We are done. Again, I'll put as much information into the description as I can, as well as leaving, all the pertinent links to the first two videos. I'll leave links to some helpful pages I found on Heroku when you go to launch your app. Um, I'll leave a link to my actual site so you guys can go and interact with it if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have been liking these videos so far, I'd really appreciate you guys subscribing if you're not already subscribed. And leave me some comments on what you guys want to see next and what you guys think about this whole web application series that I did. I do apologize for the length of the videos. I mean, this was the first time I did it, so it definitely took much longer than it really needed to. I could probably condense this all down into one video now that I've done it. I'm familiar with it. So, maybe I'll do that in the future. But for now, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy this last video. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and start um, the third video of this Python web app series. It's a lot to cover. Alright, so first thing I gotta do is just pull up the whole project here. So just do what we've been doing here. Oh, excuse me. Actually, I'm not even gonna run the server right now because I don't think I need to run the server. We'll just keep it activated for now, and then we will run the server. Actually, you know what? I will. Let's try just doing Python .py. We'll go ahead and run the server. We'll open up the project at the point that it is right now. Control C to copy that. Alright, and here is what we got so far. I know that's obviously very hard to read. It's a little better for you guys. So this is basically what our website looks like right now. We're going to go ahead and do a couple different things to help style it, make it look better, and then hopefully create an account on a site called Heroku, I think. Is it Heroku? Like the Roku TVs? I don't know. I'll find out a little later. But yeah, basically what we're going to do is just style this, make it look a lot better, and then try to create an account on a site that will allow us to host this for free. And then we will be able to host this on the web so people can actually interact with it. Like I said, I won't be keeping this one on the web just because I'm going to show you guys everything, including all the security features and stuff in my settings, so it wouldn't be secure for me to keep this hosted. But you guys can follow along with it, do everything, and then it should be fine on your end because you'll have different code. All right. So we are going to go back to, I'm going to close this for now, and then I believe Control C will get us out of, is it Control C? Shift C? Whatever. It looks like it backed out. Yeah, so we just want to now install Django Bootstrap for app. So we are basically just going to go ahead and go pip install Django Bootstrap. All right, so I think that did what we wanted it to. Next, we need to add the following code to include the Django Bootstrap in installed apps in our settings. So we're going to go ahead to our settings file. So inside of learning logs, I think we're going to learning logs. Maybe not learning log. There we go. Settings, and we want to go to our apps. So this one is installed apps, my apps. And it looks like inside of, okay, it looks like we're going to make a whole new category. This is going to be third-party apps. Third-party apps, and we're just going to add that right into there. All right, we'll save that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and modify our base.html file. So if you guys recall, in the previous videos, we set up templates, and inside of learning logs templates here, we have this base.html file. We are going to add something to our base.html. Looks like we're going to import some stuff here. I'm not sure why I put parentheses. I meant that. Okay. Okay, so it actually asked us to delete everything in our base HTML and replace it with what I'm showing you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace all that. And this is now what it's actually going to do. So, character set. Yeah. Keep somehow doing parentheses instead of curly brackets. All right, I think that's it. That is it. All right, so I'll read through briefly just what some of the stuff does. Um, all right. So at the top, obviously, we're going to load the collection of templates, template tags available in Django, and then we declare the file as an HTML document, written in English. All right. The An HTML file is divided into two main parts, the head and the body. So that's what those tags are. The head of the HTML file doesn't contain any content. It just tells the browser what it needs to know to display the page correctly. We also include the title element, which gives it the title, obviously, of learning logs. And we use one of Django Bootstrap's custom template tags, which tells Django to include all the Bootstrap style files. The tag that follows enables all the interactive behavior you might use on a page, such as collapsible navigation bars. And then the last one there just closes the head tag. All right, so that's what these two kind of things are here. Those basically just are kind of pull stuff from the Bootstrap to allow us to do different things. And it looks like now we're going to go to our base.html. Yeah, so we're still going to do a little bit more. So I guess that's just a header tag. And like they said, the header tag kind of tells us everything we need to know to load the page correctly. And now we go into the body tag, I guess. Bobby, not Bobby. All right, body. Let me scroll up a little bit so you guys can actually continue to see what I'm doing. All right, so I think that's everything. All right, so the body of the HTML contains content users will see on the page. That first, this line here, back up a little bit, this nav line here, nav element. All right, it's a nav element that indicates the page's navigation links selection. Everything containing this element is styled according to the Bootstrap style of rules defined by selectors navbar, expand, MD, and the rest that you see here. A selector determines which element on a page a certain style. Okay, hold on. A selector determines which element on a page a certain style rule applies to. Alright, and the nav the nav bar light and the BD light selectors style the navigation bar with a light themed background. Alright, so you could probably do dark if you want it dark themed. The MD and the MD4 is short for margin bottom. This selector ensures that a little space appears between the navigation bar and the rest of the page. The border selector provides a thin border around the light background to set it off a little from the rest of the page. Alright, so those are basically all this stuff is just kind of creating a navigation bar and then giving it different attributes like light background, um, and all that other stuff. All right, and then this one down here, that looks like it's going to be a link, right? We set the project's name to appear as at the far left of the navigation bar and make it a link to the home page. All right, so that's a home page link. And then the last one at the bottom, um, and the template defines a bottom that appears. This defines a button that appears in the browser window. It's a template, I guess. A template defines a button that appears in the browser window, or when the browser window is too narrow to display the whole navigation bar horizontally. So if the user clicks on it, then navigation elements will appear in a drop-down list, and then I guess it'll collapse it'll collapse the navigation bar if you try to shrink the browser window, or if the site is displayed on a mobile device that has a small screen. All right, and then it looks like we're gonna create some more stuff down here. These are again I think that's called the unordered list, and then the li is the list item. So it looks like we're just basically creating a list of items. Oops. I guess these are just how we're going to do the links now. They're looks a little different now that we're using the Bootstrap. Because now we have like this class nav link, and then we do our reference all inside of our anchor tag still. Alright. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, so it looks like everything we did there. This div tag right here is basically just like a division tag. It divides, basically creates a divider for the page. So any kind of styling and stuff that you do inside of this div tag will only apply to that section. And then um, once you stop that and create another div tag, you can change up different things. The way to basically just separate out the page. And then obviously we have our links in that list. Alright, and now we are creating another list, it looks like. Oh, whoops. Sorry guys, I lost you again. Let me see. There we go. Why is this highlighted? I don't understand. Alright, whatever. Alright, and if there... and that... and that... and that. All right, that is all. All right, so that was all of this has basically been just to like define navigational bars, the nav bar. So let's go through some of this stuff here. At the beginning, a new set of links at. All right, so up here at the top, basically, starting. All right, right here, starting at this part right here. So at this part right here, we begin a new set of links by using another open list, unordered list tag. You can have as many groups of links as you need on a page. This will be a group of links related to login and registration that appear on the right side of the navigational bar. The selector ML Auto is short for margin left, automatic. So again, it's probably just setting up margins and stuff. The if block is the same condition block we used earlier to display appropriate messages to users depending on whether or not they are logged in. And then that span element, the span element styles pieces of text or elements of a page that are part of a longer line, whereas div element creates their new own division in a page. Span elements are continuous with a large section. This can be confusing at first because many pages have this deeply nested div elements. Here we're using the span element to style informational text on the navigation bar, such as the login username. We want this information to appear different from a link so users aren't tempted to click these elements. All right, and then the very last part, which is going to be just the closing tag. This close div tag just closes that. All right, so now we're going to define the main part of the page. So the rest of base.html contains the main part of the page. So now we can go over here. Actually, I guess we'll stay right underneath. Stay right underneath navigation. I'll scroll up so you guys can see what I'm doing. So we have main role. Creating another div tag here. Someone came to join me. It's Carly. What's up, Carly? Okay. Dramatic, Carly. You gotta go out. Hold on one second. Let me finish this last section here, and then I'll go let you out. Alright, that looks like everything, and then we're going to move on to index.html. I'm going to pause it here for a second, let my dog out, and then we'll move on. Let me just hit save real quick. Alright. Now we're going to move on to styling the home page using Jumbotron. So for this one, we're going to want to open up the index file. Update the home page. To update the home page, we'll use a bootstrap element called a Jumbotron, which is a large box that stands out from the rest of the page and can contain anything you want. Typically, it's used on home pages to hold a brief description of the overall project and a call to action that invites the viewer to get involved. So here's the revised index.html file. Looks like we're just going to get rid of this block content stuff. So that's like the new index.html page. So up at the top, we basically just tell Django that we're about to define what goes into the page header block, and then the Jumbotron is just a div element with a set of styling directives. So Jumbotron selector applies this group of styling directives from the Bootstrap library to its elements. The h1 class is a first level header, and the display.3 selector adds a thinner and taller look to this particular header. So we put that whole long message in there, basically tells users what it's all about. And then rather than just using a text link, there we created a button. That button invites the user to register their Learning Logs account. The code and Raquo, Raquo, that I was actually kind of wondering about this, is an HTML entity that looks like two right-angled brackets combined. Alright, so that's what that is for. I'm not 100% sure why I put that, but that's what it is. So basically it just looks like two right-angled brackets. So like two of these. So then we close the page, and that's pretty much it. So now we're going to move on to styling the login page. So I'll hit save on that. And then we'll go into the login. Alright, where is our login one? Is that in users maybe? Yeah. Okay, cool. So go ahead and we're going to add some stuff into here. Doesn't look like we change everything, so we'll keep what's here already. We're just gonna add our bootstrap up here. The bootstrap 4. Block content. So this is now going to say block page header. Right. So that's going to be our header. We end that. Then, alright, so I guess I'm still leaving this whole block content. Maybe I shouldn't erase that. So we still have block content, but now we are going to add a few other things to it. Looks like this whole thing is just gone. Alright, yeah, looks like I just kind of added some additional stuff onto that. Let's just move this up. So we have this, and then it looks like it wants to add in some other stuff here. Whoops. Alright. Looks like we're getting rid of that form. Don't need that. Then the only other thing it has, I guess we can get rid of that button as well. Underneath of this, just gonna have the whole input type hidden. I guess all that's just staying the same. And then this would probably just go over like that. Alright, I think that's right. Alright, so again, we loaded the Bootstrap template tags into this. We defined the page header. We removed the if forms.error block from the template. Django Bootstrap 4 manages manages form errors automatically. Alright, cool. So that already takes care of that for us. We add the class form attribute, and then we use the template tag Bootstrap form. When we display the form, this replaces the form.asp tag we were using in chapter 19. So the Bootstrap form template tag inserts Bootstrap style rules into the form's individual elements as the form is rendered. Alright, so Bootstrap does a lot of what we already had to manually do. It already kind of takes care of it. And then after that, we open a Bootstrap 4 template tag buttons, which adds Bootstrap styling to the buttons. Alright, so that's why we opened up that tag for buttons. We put our button inside that tag, then we ended the buttons tag. So it makes sense. We're just kind of basically using Bootstrap now to do a lot of what we did manually before. Alright, so okay, cool. So let's go ahead and just run our program real quick and see if all this styling has actually taken place and what it looks like. What it looks like now compared to what it looked like before. Scroll up here so you can see what I'm doing. Oh wow, that looks a lot better. Alright, let me you guys can see the whole thing. I got it kind of zoomed in. But yeah, alright. Cool. We have like this little register up here. Our login button doesn't look like it's actually working right now. Learning logs, topics. Alright, so if you click on something, there's your register page. If you click on topics, it asks you to log in. The login isn't actually like a button. I don't know if that's a mistake on my end or if that was intentional. Well, let's just go ahead and try to log. And we can go to topics. We can see our topics, see our entries. everything looks a lot nicer, a lot cleaner. I think we're still going to be styling these a little better. Um, yeah, styling the topics page. So we're going to style the topics page, but it's kind of cool to see this is what this is what it looks like right now. We're going to go style it and make it look a little better. So we'll see what it looks like after the fact. So yeah, going to topics.html. So let's open the topics file. There we go. This is the one that I should be editing. All right, my bad. All right. Let's try this again. All right, this makes a lot more sense now. So we're just going to drop down right to this one here. And we're going to add in H3. And then right down here, just end H3. And then inside of this empty one, looks like we're adding H3 again. And then we're going to close H3 again over there. And again, these H3 and H1, those are just headers. From what I remember in HTML, that actually kind of looks familiar. The different H1, H2, H3 is like a different style of headering. So I think that just changes like the style. And then at the very bottom, it looks like this tag here, we're going to be adding H3 to that as well. Whoops. That's supposed to go on the outside. My bad. Alright, so H3, 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 H3. Da-da-da. That looks good. I don't think anything else changed inside of that other than just adding those. So we style each topic as an H3 element to make them a little larger and on the page. And we do the same for the link. So that's all we do right there. Alright, so now we're going to style the entries on the topic page. So we'll save this. Now we can go back to that first file that I was in, topic. Now this is where we're gonna fix this one. So honestly, I'm just gonna grab this because it's basically the same thing, and I am feeling pretty lazy today. So we're just gonna do that, and then we're gonna change what's inside of it. So for this, they're using H3 instead of H1, and it's going to say topic, which I'm assuming will change depending on the topic that we're looking at. Now we're going to go down to this right here. Do that div tag class card header. Whoops. Not card header. It's going to be class card MB3. Alright, my daughter's up. I'm going to have to take a break here. Alright, so we are back. Go ahead and zoom in here for you guys. We left off right here on this topic.html page. This is actually the last page we're going to update before we are done styling, and then we can go ahead and actually work on deploying the app. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Perfect. So that's pretty much everything we need there. We can actually delete out everything below that. Starting, scroll up a little bit. So starting right above empty, we can delete everything else right there. My dog sneezed in the background. All right, and then over here, instead of this being a list item, this is now just going to be a paragraph. Yeah, and that's it. All right. So if I did everything correctly and I didn't make any mistakes, we should have our completed app basically. All right, so let's go ahead and run this real quick. Get to my directory here. Activate it. I always end up doing the migration. Every time I log back in, I don't really think it's necessary, but with just the way that I've been changing things so much, I usually try to do the migrate just in case there was something that wasn't saved or moved over. Alright, So now we should actually be able to see, copy. Now we should see what our site looks like now. Here we go. So I guess let me just take the zoom off for this. Whoop, wrong one. All right, there we go. So this is basically what you guys are going to see when you go to the site. Something similar to this anyway. And then you can register, you can log out. I'm signed in right now as Porkchop. But if I log out, it'll say you have been logged out. Thanks for visiting. If you try to go to topics, it's going to ask you to log in. Obviously, you can log in or you can register, create a new one. So let's just go ahead and do like, we'll do lamb chop. That's what I call my wife. All right, I'll close that. So now lamb chop's logged in, and then you can go to topics. Obviously, there's no topics for that person. So you log out, go ahead and log in. Oh, okay, there we go. Got worried there for a second. All right, and then obviously you can go there and okay, and then you have all of your topics here. You have all your entries. You can add new entries. You can edit your entries. Yeah. All right, awesome. So now the last thing to do is to deploy this. So let's go ahead and see how we do that. Just zoom in there so you guys can kind of see what's going on. All right, deploying this. Let's see. So we're going to install some packages that we need. We need to install the Heroku CLI, which is just the command line interface, I guess, for Heroku. All right, so it looks like I actually have to go to a website for this. So let's see, where are we going here? HTTP. Okay. I guess we're just going to download and install it. Alright, sorry with the zoom in thing, you couldn't really see it, but I just clicked on the 64-bit installer. So yeah, you go. I'll leave a link, I guess, in the description to get to this site, and you just go ahead and download whatever whichever one you need for the system that you're running. And again, I just clicked next, and I just left everything that was checked, and just hit next, and yeah, went with pretty much all the default settings. I didn't really change anything. All right, so looks like it's all done. All right, now there's a couple things it wants us to run in the command prompt. So go there. Again, we need to run these commands from an active, what's it called, virtual environment. So we got to go here and then do our script activation. All right, so now it's active. Now we are going to run a bunch of pip commands, I guess. All right, I'm going to try to do this command they have right here. I'm going to deactivate it, and then I guess that worked. Alright, cool. So we got the new version. Alright, let's try that command again with the new version of pip and see if it does anything. So again, we got to activate everything, so alright, well, let's try the next one then, and just see if any of them work. Okay, that one worked fine. Maybe we can get away with not having that first one. Oops. Alright, then the last one is this. Whatever this is. Okay, those two seem to work fine. That first one does not work. My computer does not like it. I have no idea what all this nonsense is. So now you're going to go ahead and create a requirements.txt file, because apparently Heroku needs to know what packages we're using. So inside of our active environment here, we are going to use something pip freeze requirements.txt. Yeah, I guess that's it. Alright, looks like it worked. Alright, so the freeze command tells pip to write the names of all the packages currently installed in the project into the file requirements.txt. So we can open this file to see the packages and the version numbers installed in your project. But I assume it's somewhere in here. Oh, requirements right here. Cool. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. So apparently these are all the packages we're using. They wrote them all in there for us. Okay, cool beans. Now, we go on to specifying the Python runtime. So for this, we just need to know what Python version we're using. So I got Python 3.9.10. I mean, depending on when you watch this, you might have a different version. In the book, the example that they have, they're using Python 3.7.2. So this book was probably made a little while ago. So now we're going to make a new file called runtime.txt in the same directory as manage.py. I'm going to enter the following. So again, we're just going to make another file right here. I'll just make a new file with Sublime. We will save it. We want it to be in the same one as manage.py. And this is going to be called runtime.txt. And inside of here, we are just going to do Python. So you want to have it lowercase, followed by hyphen, and then the 3-part version number. So we have that. There is a note here that says if we get an error reporting that the Python runtime you requested isn't available, then you should go to the dev center .heroku.com categories language support and look for a link to specifying a Python runtime. You can scan through the article to find the available runtimes and use the one that most closely matches your Python version. Alright, so hopefully that won't happen. So now we're going to go back to settings, and down at the bottom where we have my settings, we're going to add some more stuff. So we're gonna have Heroku settings. Oh my gosh, I can't spell today. So we're gonna import Django. Go. Heroku. Alright. So we have that in our settings now. Alright, now it's saying something about making a proc file to start processes. So a proc file tells Heroku which processes to start to properly serve the project. So we're going to save this one line file as a proc file in an uppercase P and no file extension in the same directory as manage.py. Here's the line that goes in the proc file. Alright, I'll type that in a second. So we're making a new file, I guess. And we're going to save this. Again, in that same one that has manage. And we're not giving this one any kind of file extension. We're just going to call it a proc file. And then inside of it goes one line, web, guncorn, learning, log.wsgi, ll, log, file. Looks like a space and then one more dash. Alright, so apparently this line is going to tell Heroku to use Gunnycorn? I don't know how you say that. Gunnycorn as a server, and to use the settings in learning log wsgi.py to launch the app. The log dash file flag tells Heroku the kinds of events to log. Alright, and then the next section here is talking about using Git to track the project files. Goes into like configuring Git, ignoring files, making hidden files visible. I don't know how much of this I actually need to do. Committing the project, pushing to Heroku. And there's so much that goes into this. This is ridiculous. Alright. Alright. Well, let's see, maybe we will use the Git to maybe we'll use Git to kind of help keep the version. Let's see if I have it. I think I do, but let me find out. Alright, yeah, so I got Git version 2.28, blah blah blah. So I have that. Configuring Git. Git keeps track of who makes changes to a project even when only one person is working the project. To do this, Git needs to know your username and email. You must provide your username, but you can make up an email for your practice project. Alright. If you forget this step, Git will prompt you for the information when you make your first commit. Alright, I'm not sure what username it's talking about. If it's talking about the username that I use to sign into my computer. And so let's just try to configure Git real quick, I guess. All right. I guess I'm just gonna create a username. So let's try that. Cool. I guess that's my Git username now. And then that's not a real email address, so don't try to email that. I'm just making something up for this project. Alright, so I got my email. Mr. Pork Chop is going to be my username. Hopefully I can remember that. And then we are going to create another file, I guess, inside of that same directory. We're making a bunch of files inside of this one directory with this. So this is going to be .get ignore. If I could spell. .get ignore. Oh gosh. I think that's it. Okay. So we have that, and we are going to go ahead and put inside of this I guess these are the files that we wanted to ignore. Alright, that's all it wants in that file. So now that we have all that, committing the project. So now we get to go ahead, I guess, commit the project. We're going to do that inside of this command prompt again. Alright, so right about this time, my project took like a terrible turn. I had a bunch of issues trying to actually commit the project in Git and get it pushed to Heroku. So I'm going to attempt to do this all over. Hopefully everything goes as planned. There will be no issues, and you can see how it's supposed to work when it actually works. So first thing, again, first thing we're going to do is just do git initial. All right. So that is going to go ahead and initialize our Git repository. And then you only want to do that command once, because that's going to give you your repository. It's going to create a folder inside your project. So you don't want to make multiple repositories or try to do that command more than once. It's going to cause issues. After that, we just do git add space and then dot, and then from there we're going to make our commit. So we go git commit -am, and then you can put your comment. So for this one, I'm just going to do ready for deployment to Heroku. Now, before we really get too far into this, all right, so that creates everything we needed. You guys are going to want to go to the Heroku site, create an account there, and then from there, once you have your account and everything, you can go ahead and just type in Heroku login, or I think you can even just type in Heroku login right here in the terminal, and then it's basically going to bring you to the login screen. You can go ahead and log into your account, and then once you're in your account, you should be able to come back here, and you'll see that some things have happened. So all right, so once you've created your account, you're logged into your Heroku account, then you can go ahead and just do Heroku and do create. This should go ahead and create you a project. And then this will be the URL that that project is going to use. After you have your project created, then you're going to go ahead and do git push Heroku master. This is going to push the Git repository that we just created and that whole what we just added into the project that Heroku just created. So you go ahead and hit enter. And again, this is how it all should look. Like I said, I had a lot of issues, and I'll go over some of the issues I had and try to give you guys the best recommendations I have on how to avoid those issues, or if you do have them, how to correct it. Because I learned a lot during this whole troubleshooting process. It definitely can be complicated if there are problems. Let's just say that. If you can get it all to work right away in each command you type in, you get the expected result. Awesome. That is what I hope for you. I hope that happens because that is the best case scenario and it's so much easier. All right, so this is what you should get at the end. It does the whole new branch, master. It looks good. And then after that, what we can do is do Heroku PS. And then it should kind of give you basically what's going on over there, how many hours you have left and everything. Basically some information from Heroku. So that means that everything is working. And then from there we can go Heroku open. That will open the app, and then bam, this is the project that we just created live on Heroku. This is the actual website. I will go ahead and zoom out for you guys so you can see that everything is here. One thing I did want to check. All right, so when you shrink this down, this becomes a menu, and then you can click on it. I had some issues with the menu button the first time around, but it looks like everything is right. So then you can go to topics. You can log in, or you can register and create an account. Yeah, so that is it. Now, once you have this all set up, we can go back into our Heroku account here. You can see that now I have two different applications here. So this one is the actual application that I created and I showed in the beginning of this, and that is the one that I'm going to keep live that you guys can interact with. This one right here is the one we just created now, and this has all the code that I showed you. So if you want to delete one, basically you just click on it, and then you go to settings, and then you scroll all the way down to delete app, and then it just asks you to type out the name that it shows right there. And then you can just go ahead and click on delete app if I typed everything correctly, which I didn't. All right, then you can just click delete app. So that deletes your app off Heroku, then you won't have to worry about it. It's not live anymore. Now that being said, once you have deleted that, if for some reason you came back here and you try to go ahead and do like Heroku create, it'll create a whole new project like I just showed you guys. And then if you try to push your repository to it again, so if you did the whole git push Heroku master, it's going to give you this, it's going to tell you that there's a fatal repository error. Basically, it's not going to let you do it, and that is because you already have a git repository linked to a different basically Heroku app. So if you want to, if you run into issues and you have to start over and you're having a lot of problems, just go to your actual go to your project file right here, go up to views, and then this hidden files will probably be unchecked. And so if that hidden file is unchecked, you're not going to see the git repository. So you want to go to views, you want to make sure that hidden items is actually checked, and then you will, with that checked, you'll be able to see the git repository. and then you can just click on the Git repository, delete that folder, and then you can start the process completely over and just follow the steps, and hopefully everything will work that time around. And again, so again, just kind of check your Heroku account, delete any apps you don't want, and then delete that Git folder if you want, and then try the whole process over again. But you shouldn't have any issues following what I just showed you guys. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video series. Again, this is the book that I used for this Python crash course. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. I think it's in the description of my other videos too. Great book. I do recommend picking it up. It's only 25 bucks, definitely worth the money. There's a lot more information in this book than I really showed you guys, and then it has exactly how to create this project in the back, along with a couple other projects that look pretty cool. So if you want a more in-depth review of this, or more in-depth guide to building this, I definitely suggest picking up that book. One thing I didn't really mention was how to continue to edit the project. So you guys have already seen basically how you go into the file, you activate your virtual environment. All you need to do if you make changes to the project locally, so you go into your virtual machine, you activate it, and your virtual environment, you activate it. You create, new web pages, or you change something about the project. All you guys have to do after that is basically just do that one command where you do git add and then space and a dot, and then do the whole git commit and then -am, and then write your comment as to what you changed in that commit, and then you can do the whole git status, just to make sure that your git status is correct. And then after that, you go ahead and do that command to push the changes to Heroku. So I think it was like git Heroku or git push Heroku, whichever one it is. You guys can see it. So the only two commands you don't have to use again. You don't have to worry about doing the git initial anymore, because your repository is already set up, unless you delete that folder. Like I said, if you delete the folder, then you're going to have to do that git initial to recreate the repository. But as long as that folder is in your file or in your project, and you're using it, then you're all set. Just to add, you don't have to worry about the initial, and you also don't want to have to use that Heroku create anymore, unless you're creating a whole nother project. And again, I went over how to delete that. So that's basically all the advice I have for you guys. Hit me up on Discord, or leave me a comment if you guys have issues following this and you want some more guidance. Also, the Heroku site has a lot of different I guess they have a lot of different things on their page, as well as to kind of help you through creating projects and getting projects pushed onto their site. So I'll leave some links in the description to some useful pages over there. But I think that's it, guys. If you guys made it through the whole video, thank you so much. If you guys actually watched all three, that is awesome. Please subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out. And like I said, go pick up a copy of this book. This thing is awesome. I might do one more of the other projects in here, which is creating a game or do something similar, but that's in the future. For now, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.